Right. Today is the 1st of December 2022. And I got into an interesting conversation yesterday with a few people on one of the many social media platforms out there. This conversation was about money, and whenever people start talking about money, I get very invested because I like the conversation on money. And I'm pretty sure this is something that applies to everyone. This applies to everyone here. We all like money. I'm not too sure about the conversations regarding money though. Like how much do we like to have conversations regarding money? Because I've seen that whenever we start, say, having serious conversations on the topic of money, people tend to flake. And by flaking, I mean they find all sorts of excuses to render new ideas. Like people are very skeptical on accepting new ideas or when money is involved. Yeah. But anyway, the way this conversation started was a certain individual. He's a very well-known individual in his own right. He has a considerable following and people who, listen and heed his words because he's knowledgeable. He's well knowledgeable. He's wise. He's a wise person. This individual I speak of. I shall not say his name, but anyway, he posted on his social media platform that for poor African countries that are struggling economically to revive themselves, not in these exact words, of course. I am transmuting the whole thing altogether, but it was something along those lines. That poor African countries that are struggling economically should adopt the gold standard. Yeah. And again, like I said, he didn't say it in those words. This is me transmuting it. By adopting the gold standard, this means bringing precious metals as our medium of exchange, as our money, is the money that we use to transact and trade within our economy as a struggling African nation. For example, Zimbabwe, where I come from. It's well and good. It's not a bad idea. We all know, at least, like with gold, we all know that gold has a good track record when it comes to those circles, when it comes to them financial circles and measuring wealth. Which brings me to a very interesting topic. Whenever these things are being talked about, people have the tendency of forgetting. People have a tendency of forgetting what money is when we are talking about this thing called money. And this is why I get very excited when people start talking about money. Yeah. Because my line of argument, well, not my line of argument per se, but the line of argument that makes sense to me as far as my own research goes, is adopting a moneyless society is probably the answer to all of the world's problems. But that's a story for another day. The point that I want to drive at is people tend to forget to answer the question what money is. Like when we're talking about, okay, let's adopt the gold standard instead of using American dollars or using these government issued monies. Let's adopt the gold standard instead. Yeah, we could do that. And gold has been used historically, and it has held a very good track record. Yeah. And when making these decisions, people go into the conversation with the view that that which they are talking about to adopt as their money is the actual value or the actual wealth, which is very incorrect. Money is not wealth. Money is not value. Money is nothing. Let's go at it this way. Let's start with gold itself, for example. Gold is nothing but a very rare, very precious metal. Yeah, it's very rare, we'll give it that. It's very precious, it's beautiful, it looks fucking amazing, and it's a metal. But this very rare and very precious metal has very few practical applications. You dig that? This very rare and very precious metal has very few practical applications. Like gold is way too much trouble to extract from the ground than it is worth, if you are looking at it from a practical point of view, because gold has no practical uses that are worth the effort that's put by human beings to extract gold from the ground. I know that's kind of difficult to grasp, but forget about what you know, forget about the idea that if you take gold anywhere in the world, you're gonna be able to exchange it for whatever you want. Forget about that. Let's just say, for example, overnight, another precious metal that's way more precious and which is this is not even like analogical, because there are other metals out there that are way more precious, metals and stones, way more precious than gold, and actually worth much more than gold, like diamonds, for example. But those two have a very minimal application. I mean, diamonds actually have a way better practical application base than gold does. But anyway, that's not the point here. Yeah, number one, gold is worth, it's way too much trouble than it's really worth. Like, it's way too much trouble to dig up than what it is really worth. That's gold. It's a precious metal, it's a very rare metal that's very difficult to come by. But in reality, when we're looking at it from a practical point of view, gold has very few practical applications. We don't use it as human beings. What do we use gold for than to store it in giant security vaults? That's all we use gold for the most part. Yeah. And then like a very few applications in technology. That's it. Right, we move from gold. We move to fiat currencies or government issues, government issued monies. Government issued monies, those are even worse than gold, because they're just pieces of paper. They're just pieces of paper pulled out of a special printer that the government says, we are the only ones who can hold this printer and this type of paper, and we are the only ones who can print and give you what you guys are supposed to use as money. Yeah, that's government money. Yeah? That's fiat currencies. We shall print this paper. We as the government decree that these pieces of paper that we have ascribed value, what we are now gonna use to trade and exchange goods. I want everyone to bear in mind here that the point that I want to drive home is money is just a tool that's supposed to, money is not the value, money is just the measurement. Yeah, for example, when you want to build a fence, you want timber. You know the dimensions. Those dimensions are values. That's money. Yeah, you know the dimensions of the timber you want. You know, I want my 4x2 or my 2x4 or whatever. You know the dimensions of the timber you want. You are using centimeters. You're using inches. Those are measurements of values. The value is not the 2 centimeters of timber. It's the timber itself. It doesn't matter how fucking long the timber or how fucking short the timber is. The fact that you have timber. You can't build a fence with just 6 inches without the timber. Yeah, that's the same thing with money. You can't have money without anything of actual value, because money is supposed to measure value. It's supposed to measure wealth. It's supposed to measure that which is useful to human beings. That's its job. It's just supposed to act as a symbol of value, not as value itself. But people forget that and ascribe value to money in all its all the shapes and forms that money has presented itself throughout history are the ones that tend to be ascribed the value of that which they're supposed to be measuring. And this is a very crazy phenomena that right now in the 21st century, right now what I'm talking about is very difficult for people to grasp. Like, people will be like, what the hell are you talking about? I know that. Even okay, I'll move from fiat currencies now, and then we move to other forms of money like credit cards and debit cards, the shit that you use, swipe on a machine and you buy stuff, which is the actual value, like the stuff you're buying. Those are just nothing but just numbers on a computer screen. Yeah, they have no actual value except, you know, act as that measure. And that's my favorite example too, which extends to Bitcoin. Yeah, like, let's not forget that these things are just supposed to be used to measure. And the fight with monies now is, and this is the thing, as long as money is being used by human beings, there's always going to be an argument, because money is such a power control thing, you know, like it's such a powerful tool that can be used for control, which it is being throughout history pretty much. So much such that people are always going to argue. Yeah, I'll give you a typical example. In most of the world, people use centimeters and millimeters. Yeah, that's called the metric system. In America, they go, oh no, we are going to use inches and feet instead. Yeah, and this happens. This is them using different symbols to ascribe value to measurement of length. And this is even worse when it comes to money, because of the power of control that it has. That everyone is going to argue that now we are not going to use your dollars, we're going to use our own dollars, or now we're not going to use your dollars, we're going to use euros, etc., etc. Yeah, because of the level of control that money comes with. If you control the money, you control the people. And that's what people who believe in money so strongly essentially want, even if they don't know it. You know, like, to someone, for example, who is very poor and just wishes they have a whole lot of money, that's all they want. They want the control to be able to, you know, make other people do what they want, because that's what money does. Nothing more, nothing less. money makes other people do what you want. It's in a way similar to slavery, except now you are not slave to the master, you are slave to the money itself, because we keep confusing the symbol and the value. I know that I tend to end up rambling, but like, this is the point I wanted to drive home. Let's not confuse the symbol and the value. Money is not the value. Money is just a symbol. Money is just the measurement symbol of, oh, okay, this goat is worth $30. This goat is the value, because this goat will give me milk, this goat will give me meat. Yeah, not the $30 itself. The $30 is just pieces of paper that are going to allow the bearer to go to someone else and say, "Hi." He might just say in that moment, even, "I don't want your goat, I want to go buy bananas now with my $30. But that doesn't mean you lost $30. That means you retained a goat. You know, like, it doesn't mean you lost $30. He is holding nothing but a measurement of wealth, and he is seeking wealth. You are holding wealth by holding a goat. I don't know if yeah, I'm gonna stop here, because I feel like I'm gonna reach a point where I'm just going to be pushing moot points. Yeah, but anyway, what do I know? I'm just a fool from the ghetto.